do we express the divine life? It shows up in, through, and as each one of us. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Sometimes it doesn't look like it. Yet the truth is, what else can we do? What else can we do? Because Spirit is always showing up in, through, and as us. Always. Do we go to a spiritual shopping mall and look at the wares at the different faiths, window shop, and say, okay, maybe I'll try on this faith, or maybe I'll try on that tradition. Look at the different dogmas, the different beliefs, then maybe take one or two into the dressing room. Some of us in this room, we probably have done that at one point or another in our quest to express the divine life. Or have we looked for a spiritual get quick fix now? Get fixed quick now. Have we done that? Probably some of us have done that too. Oh, this affirmation's going to work, or that affirmation's going to work. Maybe we've looked outside ourselves. Well, what's working for them? What affirmation are they using? How can I mimic that? How can I do that? Now, maybe none of you have done that, but I'll fess up. I've done that. And the truth is that in the long run, none of that works. How do we get out of our own way to let the divine, the sacred, express through us and express the intentions of our hearts? What is it that wants to show up? Love. Just love. Ernest Holmes says, and I love this because sometimes this teaching, the words can be so darn complicated. He actually said, he's the founder, if you don't know who he is, he's the founder of the Science of Mind teaching and religious science. He actually said, love is God. Love is God. How much more simple could it be? And since we are made in the image and likeness of Spirit, therefore we are love too. So this truth that is desiring to express through us as our true selves, it's not just intellectual. We feel it in our entire body. It's a full body experience. When we get the truth, when we get it, those moments that are what the mystics call heightened awareness, those moments when we are so tuned in, when we've gotten out of our own way, and we in that moment get it, our knees maybe shake. Our cells, we get it cellularly, in the structure, in our bones. And I know for myself that there have been a few times in my life that that's happened. And one of them was when I was on my first date with my husband. And thing is, I didn't expect that to show up on that date. It took 5 years before we got on the same page at the same moment in the same town after the first date. So what is it? That intersection of the emerging future and the divine now Sometimes that truth shows up as a momentary flash, as a whisper, as a glint. And yet, in those moments, we know and we know that we know that we know, even though maybe nothing has changed on the outside. That's a conundrum. And yet, I think that we all have had some type of experience. Those of you who are parents absolutely know the truth about that. Joel Osteen, the master metaphysician who masquerades in evangelical clothing, says, doesn't he though? Isn't he just masquerading in evangelical clothing, and yet he is out there teaching science of mind? He was on national TV this week. I recorded it teaching science of mind. You know, like on one of the talk shows. He says that the rearview mirror is that tiny mirror that we look through, and it's the past. We see the past. What we see out of the rearview mirror, it's receding. It's getting smaller. And then there's the windshield. The windshield is the expanse. It's that panorama that's out in front of us. It is the emerging future. It is the intersection of the divine now. It is the open road that is ahead of us. So what are we going to do? And I'm really asking us this question, myself included. Are we going to keep looking through that little mirror at what keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller in our past, and yet we are clinging to it for dear life because it is all we know? I have been there. I'm not saying, for us to do something that I haven't done. I've done that. Or are we going to put our focus on what's outside that windshield? Maybe even get into the metaphorical convertible. Take the top down. Let go of the barriers, in other words. One time I was with Jim, and we were driving up in Mendocino County through Alexander Valley, the redwoods, and we'd rented a convertible. The top was down, and I was just looking at this canopy of redwood trees. And that to me is like a metaphor for our emerging life. There is a divine protection that's always protecting us. It is totally safe for us to step outside of our comfort zone, even though it does not feel like it one bit. There is the divine net. So how do we express more of the divine life? We meditate, and we listen, and we pray. One of my dear friends, owns a condominium in Oklahoma City, and she needed to get new tenants, so she put it on Craigslist. There was just one response. So she had booked a trip to Oklahoma City, to get the condo ready. And when she got there, and she didn't have an open-ended time, there was a few days. When she got there, the folks had really heard it. The dogs had gone to the bathroom on the white carpeting. The colored walls, which are colored and textured, they, had little nicks here and there, and her heart just sank because she thought, oh my God, I am looking at $10,000 a week and a half and have to choose new colors, have to buy new carpeting, and have to find a tenant because I have to be somewhere in a week and a half. How am I going to get this done? So what did she do? She sat down, she meditated, she listened, and she heard to call the one person who had responded to her Craigslist ad while she was in California before she'd flown to Oklahoma City. She told him what was going on. He goes, I want to see it. So they came to an understanding. They came to a deal. She had the carpets cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. She had the walls touched up. She had some other minor repair work done. He's getting a great, rent on the property. And what did she do? How did this happen? She listened. She went into meditation and prayer, and when she received her answer, she, as Dr. Frank Richelieu would say, she treated and she moved her feet. And she's not a religious scientist, but that's what she did. She treated and she moved her feet. So what is it that is desiring to speak through us? Love. Love is spoken here. Love is the way. We can put that on our cars. We can put that in the bathroom mirror, on the bathroom mirror. We can put it in front of us because love is God. So when we speak love, when we allow the love that we are to express in greater and greater measure through us, when we let it bubble up, even when our knees are quaking, and don't back down, keep stepping over the barriers, even in those moments. That is when love is spoken here. And that love is the love that's the entire universe. It's the sacred ground we walk on. It's who each of us in this room, it's who we are. Ernest Holmes very famously said, love points the way. Law makes the way possible. Love, God, points the way. Law, the creative power within us, makes the way, opens up the way, and makes it possible for us. Thank you very much.
Our services are at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and childcare is available. Please join us. If you enjoy these messages and would like to make a donation to our center, please visit our website at redondocsl.org. Thank you for your support of this ministry.